Whoa, the sun is really shining in my face, but hello everyone. It is a beautiful Sunday slash January 1st, 2023, so Happy New Year. We're in Brooklyn right now. We brought Pika with us here, and he's gonna come hang out with us while we get supposedly one of the best pizza places ever here in New York City and enjoy some nice coffee as we walk around Brooklyn. And the streets are really nice and empty today because of the holiday, so it's a perfect time to bring Pika over here too. My favorite pizza in New York City is Joe's, but this is definitely up there with Joe's for sure. And if the crust is really good, it's a big plus for me. Right, Pika? Oh no, he's eyeing the crust. Somehow we walked to Greenpoint without really knowing it. Hi, Greenpoint. Well, I really wanted to come to this pastry shop because I've seen it before online. It's really famous, but there are a lot of people in there and I don't think Pika's gonna be happy. Not for pastries. He doesn't think it's worth it if he's not getting any. I need decaf beans so I can make decaf at night. Found it, decaf from Huila, Colombia. And this is Colombia, Paloma. Cheers! Oh, wow, you can really taste the lychee. This is a hard seltzer brand that I found at Trader Joe's called Lunar. It's Asian American founded, and it's a craft hard seltzer made with real premium lychee nectar from Thailand. Only 120 calories, 4.7% alcohol. Lychee is my favorite fruit. I can definitely taste that it's very fresh, so cheers. I'm filming with a new vlogging camera right now. This is the camera that my boyfriend gave me for Christmas, the Sony ZV-1, and I have a wide angle lens and I really love it. This is a great vlogging camera, so I'm really excited to use this moving forward. But I wanted to go ahead and kind of do a travel recap of every trip that I took in 2022 and kind of go through them to talk about what I really felt. Not that I didn't enjoy all of them, but just to kind of give each trip a summary, because I did go to quite a few places this year. I will say that this year was quite a costly travel year for me. I did spend quite a bit, and I don't know if you guys know this, but I track all of my expenses, like from day to day, even just a coffee out, and of course all my travel expenses, my flights, accommodations. I started tracking all of that this year in 2022 because I was just really curious as to how much I spend traveling, and when I totaled up the sum, It was not a pretty number, let's just say. But I will be scaling back just a little bit more for 2023 because I do eventually want to save up to travel the world for a year. And I have to keep that long-term goal in mind. So I wanted to kind of do a little travel recap of all my trips. And if you haven't checked out my travel vlogs yet, please do. I love going internationally as well as staying local here in New York City, and even nearby New York City. I just love to travel everywhere. So check those out. So let's see. All right, so my first trip this year of 2022 was Oaxaca. And I went in January for over a week, so like a little over 10 days. And my accommodations there were free because I stayed with a friend that was already working remotely there. And what was the coolest thing about that trip was that it was a first time for me traveling and working there as well. So I worked a few days out of Oaxaca, which is in the southern part of Mexico, and it was my first time there. I loved Oaxaca. It's such a walkable city, so much art. It was very, very vibrant, and they're known as the gastronomy capital of Mexico. So all the food was good and super affordable. And I definitely want to go to like the beach area of Oaxaca next time. So it's known as Escondido Beach, and I want to kind of go to the coast. In January, believe it or not, I didn't just do Oaxaca. I also went to the US Virgin Islands for the first time, and you don't need a passport to go there because it is part of America. So it's counted as a domestic flight going there, and I loved it. It honestly had like the clearest waters I've ever seen in my life, and each beach was so just pristine, and there's ones that you can snorkel at that were so beautiful. I saw so much like wildlife. I saw sea turtles, I saw manta rays. It was overall really relaxing, but I probably won't go back to the US Virgin Islands, honestly, just because of the food options. I didn't feel like there were a lot, and when it comes to traveling, food is really important to me. So because of that, I don't see myself going back, but I definitely still recommend you go. In February, I went to Barcelona, Spain with my boyfriend Andrew, and we actually went there because we wanted to take advantage of President's Day, where we had it off, and we wanted to celebrate our March birthdays early because we both have birthdays in March. So we did that, and we were there for 5 days. We did all the touristy things, but also ate a lot of good food. And I would say it was more of like a relaxing trip where we kind of just ate and drank. I'm not really big into like museums or anything like that, but I did pay for a couple of them. But overall, it was just a great time, and Barcelona is a beautiful city. Now, for the trip that I semi-regret, but at the end of the day, it was for a good cause, is my 10-day long trip to Canada. And it's actually a trip that I want to take because of my dog. He's getting older now. And we actually went on a road trip across the border to Toronto and Ottawa. So we really want to take him, or I did at least, because I wanted my dog to have a little vacation. And I didn't realize that Toronto had so much good Asian food. Like, it was insane. I come from Los Angeles and we have amazing Asian food there, but Toronto is definitely comparable. It's actually a city that I feel like I can see myself living in. Not now, but I can totally see myself living in Toronto. The only thing is that, again, we spent so much money, not just on the rental car, but also the Airbnb that we stayed at in Toronto. We kind of splurged and treated ourselves to like a high-rise apartment building. And even in Ottawa, when we went, we kind of splurged on like a nicer place. So all in all, it was just a lot of money that we spent because of how many days we were there. And just because the cost in Canada is not like super cheap compared to other destinations in the world. In July, I went to Colombia, which I've made several videos about already, and I was actually there for close to 10 days as well. And I also worked remotely there for 1 out of the 10 days that we were there. It was more like 9 days, but I went to Cartagena and Medellín, as well as a day trip to GUATAPÉ, which is a 2-hour drive outside of Medellín. And it was actually my first time in South America, and I wanted to go to Colombia for so long now because I know of a few Colombians in real life, and there's a huge Colombian community here in New York City. So I've just always wanted to go and explore their culture, and I know that they have amazing food as well. I was a little bit nervous going at first because you hear a lot of negative stigmas that go around about Colombia here, and there's a lot of articles and even YouTube videos advising about the safety there and how if you're a foreigner, you're very likely to get robbed and even killed sometimes. But You know, I went in there with an open mind, but of course was very, very cautious the whole time. And I fell in love. I fell in love with the people. I fell in love with the art. I fell in love with the nature. It was all amazing, and I really liked the energy of every place that we went to. And it was also a great chance for me to practice my Spanish, because I did hear that Colombians have the most neutral accent when they speak Spanish, and everyone there was really patient with me and Andrew's broken Spanish. So it was overall amazing, and I actually really want to go back to Colombia, but go to Bogota next, because it is the capital city and we've heard a lot of great things about it. It's very different from Medellín and Cartagena, because Colombia is fairly big and diverse in landscape and weather. So definitely want to go back next time. Next trip was in the fall, and it was to Korea, and we went in September. I almost didn't go because of some personal issues, but we ended up being able to go, and I planned like our entire itinerary within like 2 days, and we went to Seoul and Jeju Island. And Jeju Island is somewhere that I've been wanting to go to for literally years, because I've heard so much great stuff about it, and I've been always dying to just have the seafood there and go to all the seaside cafes. We were in Seoul first for about 48 hours, and Seoul is always so much fun. I always tell Andrew that I want to live there in the future. I see myself being there at least for some time in my life, because there's so much to do and it's so fun and it's so modern. So Seoul was fun. I ate a lot of good food, of course, and then we spent 5 days in Jeju. We rented a car and we drove all around the island, actually, because I was so like, I wanted to see everything. I'm that kind of person. We stayed at 2 different Airbnbs. I want to go back to Jeju. I feel like I can see myself living there for a little bit too. There's just like some kind of charm about it that I can't quite put my finger on, but that was a lovely trip, and that was for about a week. My second to last trip this year was to Culebra, and that is a little island off of the mainland of Puerto Rico, and we were there for 3 full days. And I've been wanting to go to Culebra as of like a year ago, just because of one comment that was on my San Juan, Puerto Rico vlog. Someone said that I have to go to this beach called Flamenco Beach, and it's in Culebra, and it's one of the world's best beaches. So I was like, I had that in my mind that I had to go. So as soon as I found really cheap flights from New York City to San Juan, I booked that trip. So we went in October, and we got the Airbnb booked, and it was amazing. We rented a golf cart and we went all around the island, which is really, really small, and we just went beach hopping. I will say I probably will not go back, just because I feel like I've seen all the beaches on Culebra, and the food was not like the best. I think that is also because of the hurricane, and what kind of damage it did, and as well as the fact that COVID, honestly, a lot of restaurants were not open, so we were scrambling around for food a lot. And yeah, but I would not be opposed to doing a day trip there just for Flamenco Beach in the future. I definitely want to explore a lot more of Puerto Rico. I think it's a beautiful island, so I definitely want to explore the rest of Puerto Rico, but probably not Culebra, at least not for an overnight trip. Lastly, I went to Greece. Yes, I went to Greece last month, and I went for 5 days. It was a girls' trip with my best friend and her sister, and we went to celebrate my friend's late birthday. It was in July, but we celebrated last month, and it was so much fun. My first time to Greece. We went to an island called Crete, which is actually the largest island in Greece, and we had the best time. The only thing is that the weather wasn't totally in our favor, because it was it's of course winter, and there was a storm going through, so it was mostly gloomy and it was pretty cold. Not the kind of sunny, bright, hot Greece holiday that you see in media or even online. It was definitely more like a chill local vibe, and food there was amazing. We took a food tour. That was so much fun. And of course, just having the best company with you, I feel like, is the most important thing on a trip. And even if nothing is in your favor, if you have the best people to spend the time with at that destination, then I think that it makes a huge difference. And I would love to go back and explore the rest of Greece as well. Let me know what travel destinations you are planning this year. I like how I'm getting so excited about all this travel talk, and yet I told myself that I would scale back on spending this year. But I really do think I will maybe take one less international trip. Just work hard at saving a bit more money for my long-term goal of wanting to travel for a year. So That was a lot of talking about travel. I can talk about travel for forever, but I'm gonna sign off now. And yeah, let me know if you are going anywhere this year. I want to know what kind of destinations y'all are going to, or any that should be on my radar, because one day I want to travel the world. But you know, I gotta ground myself, because I am still a working individual in society. So I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your week. Thank you so much for watching as usual, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.